The intent of this program is to verify whether or not the user has selected the correct state and the correct matching capital city by selecting the two corresponding radio buttons and then clicking the Verify Answer button. If the user has selected the two correctly matching state and city, then the label message says correct, otherwise it says incorrect. So what we're going to do is create an event procedure, and we're going to do that in the Verify Answer buttons click event procedure. And the user will select the radio buttons and then click the Verify Answer button to determine whether or not they are correct. So I'm going to double click the Verify Answer button to get into the code editor, and I'm going to simply write an if statement. If rad Arkansas dot checked and rad Little Rock dot checked, then LBL message dot text is correct. Else LBL message text is incorrect. Let's give a quick test. So I select Arkansas and Little Rock, verify answer, correct. But if I select Arkansas and Frankfurt, verify answer, it's incorrect. Now, you might think we have to do this for every single radio button, or at least 5 of them, but what I'm going to tell you what we can do is using one if-else and if block, and in the expression we make it a complex expression. We say if rad Arkansas dot checked and I'm going to change this to and also. Look up the difference between using and versus and also. So rad Arkansas dot checked and also rad Little Rock dot checked, or else. Again, look up the difference between or versus or else. And I'm going to continue putting all of the corresponding pairs of state radio buttons and city radio buttons in this if portion of the if-else block. So if rad Illinois dot checked and also rad Springfield dot checked, or else, etc. Now you can see that I have all of the correct state and capital city radio buttons paired up, and it's in one expression, or one compound complex expression. So if this pair, or else this pair, and so on. Again, let's make another quick test, and let's go with Oregon and Frankfurt. Verify answer, nope. Let's change that to Oregon Salem. Notice that it still says incorrect, but Oregon and Salem are a correct match. Well, it's because we haven't clicked the Verify Answer button yet. I click Verify Answer button, and then it switches to correct. So here's a user-friendly feature that we can fix. Let's write a procedure that clears this label anytime one of these radio buttons is clicked. To write a procedure to clear the label anytime a button is clicked, or let's do the default event, double click the Arkansas radio button. The default event is check changed. So it will check to see if the checked property of that radio button has changed. And if it is, then this procedure will occur. So we're going to say if rad Arkansas.checkChanged event occurs, then LBL message.text will be an empty string. And you can do the quote quote, or you can say string.empty. Either one will work. Now, remember that this is the default name of the procedure, but what really matters is the handles clause of the procedure. This procedure will process when the rad Arkansas object, its check changed event, occurs. So we can change the name of this if we'd like, as long as we're following proper naming rules. So let's just call this the clear label procedure. And let's see if it works. Arkansas is Little Rock. Verify. Now if I click Arkansas again, nothing happened because it didn't change. But if I click Kentucky and then Madison, verify. Remember, we only wrote this procedure for the Arkansas button. Now I'm going to click the Arkansas radio button, and it clears the label because the checked property of the Arkansas button changed, so it cleared the label. In theory, you have to write this exact same procedure 9 more times for each radio button. But my intent for renaming this is because I'm going to have one procedure that does the exact same thing for 10 different radio buttons. You do that by modifying the handles clause. So this procedure will process if the rad Arkansas.checkChanged event occurs, or if the rad Little Rock.checkChange occurs, or if the rad Illinois.checkChanged event occurs, and so on. Okay, so we can see now that I have entered in the handles clause all of the radio button objects .checkChanged event. So regardless of which radio button we click, if the checked property changes, then the label will clear. And that's a brief explanation of how to do complex expressions in your if clause and a procedure that handles multiple objects and events.